Hello everyone, I am just trying to get set up here, get my lighting right. Okay. Okay, I think that's how I'm going to leave it. All right, it is 8:01. I am running a little behind. We'll go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. Nicole here from sugarandscraps.com. This is my usual online card class. I did change the time from in the morning to in the evening, so hopefully we'll get a few more people watching at this little bit of a later time. So if you're hopping on, leave me a comment, say hello. I have two really adorable projects for you today. It's going to use the Beautiful Friendship stamp set. So I'll go ahead and bring those in so you can see them. So here's the first one, just a super simple card. I did it in purples and blue with a little bit of green. And then this one I think is my favorite. This one is a little bit more involved, but it is a storybook fold card. So we'll go ahead and get to making those. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring in the measurements here while I grab my paper and my trimmer. So these are the measurements for both cards, where it's card number 1 is going to be the purple card, and card number 2 is going to be the storybook fold. And don't worry if you don't get the measurements here. I will post them all on the blog when I post the replay. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to need a piece of Gorgeous Grape. That is 5.5 inches by 8.5 inches. And we're going to score that in half at 4 1/4. We need a piece of patterned paper, and that's going to measure 3 inches. Nope, I messed that up already. I had my two cards mixed up, so I'll have to grab another sheet of paper here. Okay, and this is going to measure 3 3/4 inches. By 5 inches. Okay, and then we're going to need a piece of Whisper White that is 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. And then you're going to need a scrap piece for die cutting, and I've already die cut out my oval that I'm going to use. All right, ink. All right, I forgot my ink. This card, I had the ink for my next card out. So we're using Gorgeous Grape, Seaside Spray, and Old Olive. And I'm just going to start by stamping the hydrangea image in the Gorgeous Grape. And I'm just going to kind of put 2 of those on I think on my first one, I might have stamped off a little bit because the colors look a little, no, they're the same color. Okay, I'm going to clean this off. Because then I'm going to take my Seaside Spray, and we are going to stamp off with this one, and we're going to stamp right over top of the purple. So there you can see the different colors. And then we are going to bring in our little leaves here. We're going to stamp those in olive. Okay, and then on our oval, we are going to stamp our greeting. we're going to use Gorgeous Grape, and then we are going to stamp off. And then close up these inks for now. So we are done with those. We're going to take some of the 1/4" metallic ribbon in Seaside Spray, and we're just going to tie a bow because we're going to put a little bow on our oval once we get everything on the card. And so now we're just going to assemble. I told you this one was pretty simple. So we are just going to take our glue here. And we'll center this. Oops. Glue on my card piece there. Be able to cover that up with my oval. Okay, so we got that. We're going to take our flowers. Same thing. We're going to just stick those on the card. Right about there. And this stamp set is one of the ones that is on sale today for the 24-hour flash sale. So it's 15% off till 11:59 tonight. A little bit of dimension with my dimensionals here. You know what? This didn't stick well last time. I used the liquid glue last time and it took forever for the glue to dry. I want it to go this way. And then I'm just going to stick this right underneath of my words here. And there is our first card. Super simple, like I said. Now we get to move on to the next one. And this one, whoops. I had so much fun making this one. So, this one's a little bit involved. So we are going to need a piece of, I'm using Mango Melody, and we need a regular card base that's 8.5 by 5.5. Scored in half at 4 1/4. With this second piece, we're going to cut it down to 5 by 8 inches. And while I have my trimmer out, I'm going to go ahead and do the scoring and the cutting on this one now. So we are going to put the 5-inch side up at the top. And we're going to start with it lined up at the 1-inch mark. And then you're going to start your cutting blade at the 1-inch mark. And you're going to go from 1 inch down to 7 inches. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And this time I'm just going to go up. So we're going to line it up at the 7-inch mark. And we're going to go up from 7 to 1. And we're going to rotate it so the 8-inch side is up at the top. Starting at the 1-inch mark, you're going to score inside of the cut lines. So that's about 4 inches, 1 inch to 4 inch approximately. We're going to move it down to 1.5 inches. Do the same thing. You're going to score from 1 to 4 inches just inside of those cut lines. We're going to go to 2.5 inches. And this time you're going to score on the outside of those cut lines. So you're going to start at the 4-inch mark and go down, and then start at the 1-inch mark and go up. I think my score didn't. Okay, so we've got 1 inch, 1.5, 2.5. At the 4-inch mark, you're going to score the whole way down. And then we're going to flip it around and we're going to start back at that 1-inch mark. And once again, we're going to score in between those cut lines from 1 inch to 4 inch. Slide it over to 1.5. Score inside of the cut lines. And then at 2.5, you're going to score on the outside of the cut lines only. Okay, I'm going to set that aside. We'll go back to that. We are going to cut 3 pieces of paper from the white here. So we need a 4 1/4. By 3 1/4. We need 2 pieces that are 2 3/4 by 3 3/4. No, 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Sorry. So 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. You're going to need a piece of patterned paper, and I'm using Granny Apple Green, and that needs to be 3 inches by 4 inches. And then you're going to need 2 scrap pieces. I'm using Flirty Flamingo for my larger piece and Whisper White for my smaller piece. That is all the cutting we're going to do. All right. I'm going to do my stamping first, and then we'll assemble. So on the inside of my first card, I used the smaller rose image. and I stamped it in Flirty Flamingo. And I just inked my stamp up once, and I just kept stamping to get 3 images. And of course my final image was much lighter than my first. And then I took my Granny Apple Green and I stamped some leaves. We're going to use those again in a minute. I used birthdays are the best days for my greeting. I went kind of in the center. Use the double flower on this one. And with my Flirty Flamingo, and I'm just inking my stamp once. I'm going to come back to these leaves with our green. And then for our white tag, we're going to use the larger rose image. I'm going to stamp this little, I don't know, it looks like it should be the middle of the flower in Mango Melody. And then we'll do our leaves in the Granny Apple Green. All right, so before we can assemble our card, we have to do some folding. So our card base is just going to get folded in half. I just had to check that I had that right. So this line you're going to fold over because that's going to create your pop-up base. And then that one you're going to fold in the middle. These ones on the top and the bottom are going to create a little peak. That is what's going to hold your. So that is what it should look like when you have the folds. And then what I did was take my folded piece. Excuse me. I took my folded piece and I just creased all my lines really well. Alright, so before I glue this into my card, I'm going to glue my picture panels in. Then we are going to flip this over and we are just going to put glue here and here. Then this was the toughest part for me, was just making sure that my folds lined up. And making sure that the folds are going the direction they need to be going. All right, now we're going to take these pieces here, and for this piece, I'm going to use my snail because I need to get my ribbon on. And I'm just using the crinkled seam binding ribbon. And I will show you how I do my cheater bows. So what I do, now that I've got this glued down, I'm a little crooked there. I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to slip my ribbon underneath. Tie my bow. Adjust it to where I think I want it, maybe. And then just snip my ends. And then I can move it wherever I want it. All right, so we are going to put this piece in the middle of the card on the front. This piece is going to go on the flamingo label. And then this piece I am just going to pop up with a couple dimensionals. And then I'm just going to position it right under my bow. So there you have it. A cute little fun fold. And this was the one I did this evening. Just a cute little card. So there you have it. I hope that you liked the projects, and like I said, if you missed the measurements, I will post everything on my blog, along with the replay of the video, so that everything is clear. And if you need any clarification on any of the steps, feel free to reach out. And until next time, happy stamping. Bye.